What's up, guys? This is John from Heavyset Tactical, and I'm back at it today with another knife review of a knife company I grow more and more fond of, and I can't wait to show you guys some of the B-roll this week from me using this knife. This is an LT Wright Genesis, and it's the true Scandi. It's not a Scandi Vex grind on it. This is the LT Wright Genesis in black micarta and A2 steel. This is a knife that I have a bunch of LT Wright Frontier Firsts and some of his smaller knives like a next gen. I've always wanted this Genesis, and I've heard so much about it. It actually came to me right out of the box with this beautifully done, you can see in the reflection there, this beautiful grind on it, super sharp grind on it, and this beautifully polished edge. Now, this is my first experience with A2 tool steel, which, you know, it has decent edge retention. It's not going to rust as easily as most of LT Wright's designs. He uses a lot of O1 and stuff like that. But, you know, it's tough. And I've seen some videos where guys are just taking it way too far with this knife. But mainly it's, you know, in my opinion, I'm a guy that likes super steels. I like Magna Cut. I like LMAX. I like CPM 3V, things like that. So again, A2 is a little different of an experience for me. Came out of the box razor sharp, and one of the great things about LT Wright knives is the super sharp. You can see right there is where it starts. Super sharp 90-degree spine on there. Just for hitting a fire steel, just razor sharp. And the sheath that it came with was a little lighter than this. I did a coat of snow seal on this thing, which I think I did a short about that. Comes with this beautiful dangler. I took the dangler off and was wearing it belt carry for about the past week, and really realized how much I can appreciate a good dangler. Nice double stitched sheath here. You know, these sheaths that they use, I'm trying to think of what that company is. I forget, that LT Wright uses for their sheaths are, in my opinion, are just so well done and well thought of. So anyway, I'm going to go through some facts here real quick, some specifications real fast. This is a 9-inch overall knife. The blade length is 4.25 inches. The thickness is 0.12, so it's, you know, it's not bendy at all, but it's definitely a lot thinner than some of my more survival or bushcraft knives are. So it's 0.12 inches thick. The material is A2 tool steel. It's a spear point. It has a Scandi grind on it, and it has a polished finish. So I don't think it has any, you know, it doesn't have like a satin going on. It's just a straight polished A2, which I really like. It's very archaic. I always say that about LT Wright knives. They're very archaic, and they're very hard use knives. And this thing, I carved up a piece of 2x4 and then a piece of oak when I was just standing in my barn kind of checking this knife out. And it feather sticks like a dream. I'm going to put some shorts up this week of me feather sticking with this thing. It makes me feel like I really know what the hell I'm doing, which is funny because my feather sticks are pretty good. So the handle length is 5.75 inches and the blade is 4.25. I like handle heavy knives when it comes to bushcrafting. I'm going to compare this knife in a similar fashion to the new age bushcrafter, the Reef Knives F4, and then the only knife I have on me other than that is the SOG Pillar. So this is it with the Reef F4 bushcrafter and the SOG Pillar tactical knife by SOG, which I love. But anyway, I wanted to show you guys in comparison, you know, both of these this is kind of a new age bushcrafter that I've been really liking, and this is kind of like an old school design, and they're very similar in length. But yeah, so it has a handle heavy build, which I like. You know, if I'm gonna have a 4.5 or 5 inch blade, or even 4 inch blade for carving and bushcrafting knife for feather sticking and things like that, I really like a slightly longer handle. So they actually they LT Wright does really well thought out. This is the black micarta handle, and it's really well thought out. And I'll get to that in a second. But again, A2 tool steel, black micarta, Scandi grind. The handle thickness at its heaviest is 0.87 inches around, and then the weight of it is 7.6 ounces. So it's not a heavy knife. I mean, it has a nice feel to it. Feels a little heavy in hand, but just have great control with this thing. And you know, I wish I had something right here, right now, to carve up a little bit, just to show you guys that Scandi it comes with is just medieval sharp. And the grind on his knives is just perfect. You know, I got a little bummed out. I bought a couple Bark River knives, and the grind was a little jacked up on it. And when this knife came, I was assuming there might be some defects with it, just because it's a very archaic type, and I'm sure they're hand finished. But even where they pinned in the handle, it's just beautiful. It has this like brass and silver center on it, steel center on it. I'd love to know what kind of pins they're using, and it has this really well thought out kind of nice and thick lanyard hole down on the bottom. I don't think I'm gonna put a lanyard on this knife because it's just kind of, you know, it depends on the knife when I put a lanyard hole on it, but this is just a beautiful knife. And the sheath is just really, really, really nice that it came with. Came out of the box just razor sharp. I don't wear danglers a lot, but I really like this dangler. Now, it does not come with a fire steel. This is my fire steel that I put on there. And it's one of my kind of cheaper plastic head ones. But I just wanted to have one on it for the sake of using it in the woods, you know. I'm going to use this as my camp knife and my bushcrafting knife and get a lot of use out of it. I've really enjoyed, you know, kind of kind of processing it and getting the feel for it in my hands. It's very comfortable, and it has this very, you know, bulbed out, really thick broomstick handle. And it's very old fashioned, very old school. LT Wright has some other types of handles, but this is one of my favorites, and I never understood why, and now I do. When you're not going to get hot spots with this thing, you know, hot spots, you're going to have a lot of control as a carving knife and whittling knife, and then it, you know, it has these big thumb recessions there for, I guess you could pinch grip something, but really, in my opinion, they're mostly for striking a fire steel and having control when you have the knife upside down and you're scraping it, and control like this when you're doing something that you need to have the knife out to the side of your hand. You know, you can have a lot of control there, but it's just a super comfortable knife, and I'm really happy with it. You know, it's my first it's my first like broomstick handle bushcrafting knife, and you know, these thick handled like Battle Horse has a couple knives I've been looking at, and it does not, you know, you can choke up on it pretty good. I mean, that's right up to the sharpening choil, but it has this like half of a finger choil right here, and it's almost, I think, if you really wanted to, or you really had to, like, get really hard up on something, you could kind of keep your finger right there. And I'm not sure if that's the use for it, or if it's more of just like for sharpening and a stopper there. But it's, you know, it's a very comfortable knife, very functional, a lot of control with this knife. It's a great fire knife for starting fires and feather sticking and carving and whittling and camp tasks. And, you know, it might not be the best at food prepping because it's, you know, Scandi grinds just aren't the most slicey as far as, you know, cuts through thick veggies. But it's definitely going to get those things done. And it's a really pretty knife. You know, I cannot wait to just pound on this thing and really, really, really run it through some paces. It did come extremely sharp out of the box. So, you know, I'm definitely going to get back to you guys on some videos about how I liked it. I just wanted to run through the specs and kind of tell you guys my initial thoughts on it. I'm a big fan of LT Wright, and I like that there's someone in. I like that there's still some companies that are keeping things archaic and kind of back to the basics as far as bushcrafting and how knives were made back in the day, you know. So again, comes with a great leather sheath and a dangler. I'm going to put the price and some links down in the description for it. I paid $220 for this knife exactly. It's on Blade HQ for $210. I'm pretty sure they're still in stock. You can get them on DLT Trading, I believe. Blade HQ, Theknifeconnection has a lot of LT Wright knives on them on that site. So around $210, $220, and it's just a really great option for a woods knife, you know, and camp knife. So again, you guys have a great day, a great week. You know, stay positive, stay safe, and always stay heavy.